The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, welcome back to The Buzz. I am your host, Kathy Miller. We were just running around getting some books set up, getting the, we don't want no glare on the books because I want people to be able to see what we are talking about. And I am welcoming for my first time to The Buzz, Dr. Curtis Barnett. Good morning. Welcome to The Buzz. How are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
Excellent. So we're here to talk about your new book, Journey to the Present. It's a collection of stories.
That's right.
And I do have
10 of them in there.
I have 10?
Yes.
Okay, I have also Caymanian Epics, which came before this book.
Right.
Also on display here for people to see.
Right.
So I'm excited because I have never spoke to you before. Oh, we also have Mid-Millennial Isles. When did this book come out?
2003.
2003.
When we were celebrating our quincentennial year, the 500th anniversary of our history.
Okay.
In Cayman.
All right. Let me check that one out.
In history.
Can you bring the mic a little bit closer to you?
Right,
there you
sure.
Go. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a book of poems and short stories.
Okay, awesome.
And you notice there was a CD included.
Oh, yes.
I was trying to stay up to date with that one.
That's kind of cool.
And yeah. My very first book of prose, actually, these are all stories.
Toes in the Sand.
Right?
Yeah,
came out in
heard of this.
1995.
Wow. So you've been writing for a long time.
That dates me.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
All at that.
Wisdom and experience, refinement, all those great things. What do they say about wine? It gets better with age, right?
So they say.
So I'm going to give your bio here because
Good.
I think it's a beautiful one. So Dr. Curtis Barnett, a doctorate from Columbia University, which is amazing. That's a university I've always wanted to go to. So I'm slightly envious. I think that's
come a little bit closer.
You're a Caymanian author and educator whose work spans poetry, short stories, language, and music. Born in the Cayman Islands, Dr. Curtis Barnett has published 4 previous books: Something About Us, Toes in the Sand, Mid-Millennial Isles, and Caymanian Epics. Throughout his career, Dr. Barnett has taught at several secondary schools and served as a professor of Spanish at the International College of the Cayman Islands, the Community College, now UCCI, Brooklyn College in New York, and Bethel University in Minnesota. He has also taught music privately, enriching Cayman's cultural and academic landscape with his wide-ranging expertise. So, Dr. Barnett, you are somebody who loves the arts and words.
I certainly do. The arts, which encompass music, graphic art, pictorial art. Especially, I remember the days when I lived in New York. And a number of times I went up to Manhattan from Brooklyn, where we lived.
Can you tell me the era that you lived in New York, like the decade?
That was like 1967, probably. Yeah.
Is that kind of Harlem Renaissance time?
No, that was afterwards. The Renaissance part of it was before, you know?
Okay.
But I went several times to the Metropolitan Museum of Art just to stand and otherwise walk around a bit into the different halls and salons and look at the artworks. And the first story in my book, Journey to the Present, which is now about almost 8 weeks old since publication, that's, shall we say, a story based partly on art.
Okay, beautiful.
And a well-known, at least to some people, Spanish artist named Salvador Dalí.
Oh, yeah.
Gave a painting to a Caymanian immigrant in New York.
No way. No way.
She might have said that if she had known, but she didn't know how precious that was.
No way.
Yeah. And look, all these stories are based on occurrences. I mean, actual episodes and facts and, historical truth.
I love that.
But that personal story of hers worked out in such a way that, as you have already heard me intimate, she didn't exactly realize what was going on there. And so somehow, in the end, that little painting disappeared. And nobody has been able to recover it, find it, discover it since.
Oh, man.
But if they don't, it's all described right there in the first story,
Okay.
called That Thing.
That thing that you never knew the value of that lost, but hopefully you find that thing again.
Right.
Can
So you'll find in that story too a real detailed description of the piece, of the painting.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you find anything wrong with the description, well, just blame that on me. But check it out.
Well, I guess they would have to know this this artwork
Yes.
intimately enough to know that you might have said something wrong with it. So maybe they have it now, and then you can trace where it's at.
So they should be inspired to go to the fountains and read about Salvador Dali
Yeah.
and look at him in some videos and so on, and they'll get an idea of who this man was that this Caymanian immigrant met and from whom she received this valuable painting. You would have known it was valuable.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely incredible. So she told you this story. I'm assuming, like, how did you
I
know
heard the story. I
Okay.
can't say that I heard it from her directly, but I heard the story from
Okay.
creditable sources.
And that inspired you to include it as one of the 10 in
Most
Journey to the
definitely.
Present.
Most definitely. Now, there isn't necessarily anything new with that because many writers have been inspired by things in reality,
Of course, yeah.
and so that happened.
Okay.
I was inspired by that. Yes.
So for Journey to the Present, is there a theme that surrounds all the stories? Like, is there a particular theme with the book at all, or did you?
Well, I think you'll find somewhere along the line. I was looking at some possible questions, and you perhaps are interested in knowing that all the stories, the 10 stories there, somehow began in the past and somehow bring us forward to the present.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a little while, but not a really long while, to come up with a title for the book. And even though none of the stories is called Journey, they all somehow reflect a journey in people's lives and in the historical life of the Cayman Islands. Because all the stories there really are based on Caymanian history,
Okay.
or personal history in that case, in the case of the first story. Right?
So how do these stories come to you? Is it from experiences you hear about? Are any of them one-off accounts? People are telling you personally, and you're getting some merit to write about it, or?
I have heard a lot of stories, and by the way, I went to a publisher first who told me that, this is much too long. And so I eventually ended up cutting out a lot of material that I could have published, which would have brought the book to approximately 3 times the length it is,
Oh, wow.
which is 345 pages.
Right now it's
345.
345, yeah.
Don't forget
345, wow. That's amazing, yes.
And
that almost slipped by me, by the way.
and so there are other stories to be published.
Okay.
But yeah, they all somehow bring us to the from the past to the present. Each of the individual stories and all of them together.
What does writing do for you?
Oh, I like to write, and it gives me a sense of fulfillment, of course, and accomplishment, especially when I can have it published.
Yes. I love writing as well. So
Yeah, I don't get to read as much as I would like to, really, to audiences, perhaps especially to younger audiences. But I did read one of my stories in this book, Caymanian Epics, to the audience, which was, shall we say, congregation, in the Bosun Bay Presbyterian Church when they celebrated their 90th anniversary. I think that was, 5 years ago already. And a number of people were in there. At first, there was a buzz going on, and it was a fairly long meeting, shall we say. They were celebrating their 90th anniversary, and they brought me on toward the end. And but when the people who were, I would say, mostly not so young, but more middle-aged and even up into the 70s, approaching 80 even, in the case of one particular lady. And And then they started to hear the story, and they realized, wow, this is about people we know, you know? And even some of the names in there, I kept some of the real names, I mean, you know. And that was a sea story about, it's the one called Misadventure.
Okay.
Okay? And they go toward the Keys, Nicaragua, and the turtling and all that kind of thing. And there is a misadventure, in fact, because the boat, the ship, the vessel, the Caymanians used to call it vessel. It wasn't a ship, right? It wasn't a big ship at that time. And so the vessel ended up being destroyed, being shipwrecked. I mean, not against rocks in that particular case, but there on the high seas. It split open and sank, you know, and there were those, I think there were 7, you know, and one of them was in the audience that night.
No way.
He's still living. A second one who is still living was not able to be there. But those 2 of the 7 are still living. And I got information from both, but especially from the one who was there.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the reading, I gave him a little attention, and he stood up so gladly and you know, greeted the people and told them in 1 or 2 minutes, more or less, his reaction to the reading of the story and so on. And but yeah, I would like to do more of that kind of thing. And so one of the oldest ladies who was there that night, she said, this is what, and a number of people concurred and agreed that, yeah, our young people, our children should be hearing stories like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it took me about 45 minutes to read.
Oh, wow.
So
I think that's so interesting. And when you say you'd like to be doing more things like that, do you mean in the sense of you want to be telling people stories? You want to help to tell people stories, like connect us?
Yes.
Yeah.
My stories, however, are not so much the kind of stories that they have in Gimme Story,
Right.
the annual event. Mine are more literary, written stories, you know. And we would miss some things if I didn't read some of the words, the expressions, and some of the details that I have written in there. I would forget some of them, you know, if I were trying to tell it.
Of course, yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the performance part. Yeah, it's a little different. We got to go to a quick commercial break right now, but when we come back, we're going to get a little bit more into your style of writing.
Okay.
Kirk Freeport's Easter at Bayshore is back. Hop over to the Bayshore Mall on Saturday, April 4th from 4 to 6 p.m. for an egg straw special Easter celebration. Meet the Easter Bunny, enjoy sweet treats, and join the fun with a scavenger hunt, chocolate prizes, face painting, games, and more. And the best part? It's all free, including free parking behind the Bayshore Mall. Visit KirkFreeport.com for details. Happy Easter from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
The 7 a.m. Sports Report, brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
The Passport and Corporate Services Office advises the public that it will be closed for the Easter holidays on Friday, 3rd of April and Monday, 6th of April. Persons are encouraged to check their passports to ensure all is in order ahead of travel. The office will reopen on Tuesday, the 7th of April at 9 a.m. For more information, call 649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
Celebrating 50 years of broadcasting in the Cayman Islands. This is Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I am here with Dr. Curtis Barnett. We are talking about his new book. Recently just came out. I think he said it's only been 3 weeks now.
The 6th of February it came out.
The 6th of February, okay. Yeah. Journey to the Present. It's a collection of 10 stories, and from what I understand, the book blends real and fictional strands. So how do you balance truth and imagination in your writings?
Well, I think I mentioned to you already that this book, which is 2 months old now since publication, is all based on Caymanian history, but I don't repeat history, don't write history in a servile way. It's not a history book as such. And so it's a blend of history and imagination and fiction, I would say. And people who know something might even end up asking me, like a person in the know and knows a lot about Caymanian history and so on, just asked me a little while ago, if the name, he called the name of the person in the first story there, if that was that somebody real or fictional? I mean, I think he suspected it might have been real. And the name has been changed, for example, but and so you have to blend it, the actual history and the fiction in certain ways that it shows it's not just a servile repetition of history, but it's also a blending of both, But some people would know more than others, would suspect that certain people and certain events actually took place. And I mean, there are different ways in which you do that. I mean, I always try to, the word verisimilitude.
I don't know this word at all. This is my first time hearing it.
Related to what is real and truth. Even though it's fictional.
Verosimilar?
Verosimil in French, I'm sure. But I
just wanted in English.
Verisimilitude.
Okay.
That's a good English word, believe it or not. That comes from Latin, of course.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, and so there's a good deal of that in the book, I would say, Vero has to do with truth and facts and so on. And similitude has to do with being similar.
Okay.
It could have been, but wasn't necessarily.
Okay. Do you have a favorite story that's in Journey to the Present?
Do I have a favorite story? I can't say I do, really. I kind of like them all, and I'm just right now these days rereading some of the stories in there, and thinking to myself, boy, I could have changed this, I could have changed that, perhaps. And sometimes I think too, I did all right there. And so I don't think, just last night, though, I read this one called Into the Wild.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, I like that story. I don't know if it's my favorite, but shall I read you a few lines from it?
Let's go for it. Let's hear.
One day as I was walking leisurely near the front of the Parliament building in Georgetown, I saw just ahead of me a man and his wife who were stopping to look at a mother hen and her baby chicks. The mottled brown and white hen was taking her time in the sidewalk space which she occupied, as if she owned the place. She pecked some crumbs on the ground and clucked for her offspring to follow her and do the same. The couple in front of me slowed their pace and softly made a few comments while they observed the hen and her chickens. Holding out his hand towards his wife as he kept his gaze fixed on the fowl, the man asked for the cell phone so he could take some pictures. Like that of the couple, my attention was also drawn to the mother and her progeny. Since I was there to meet someone and had nowhere else to go at that moment, I slowed my movement on the pavement near to which I had temporarily parked and exited my car. I looked at the little animals with as much interest as the man and his wife. I have always been attracted to fowls and taken an interest in them. My curiosity has often led me to stop and spend a little time looking at and even bewondering them, and I am happy to share the interest and what knowledge I have with other interested people. So as the progress of my leisurely steps were detained by my attentiveness to the scene just described, I struck up a brief conversation with the couple, who at that moment had become my sidewalk companions. Seeing how taken they were with the tame and friendly fellow denizens of our own little island space, I remarked in the hearing of the man and woman, "These are the main samples of wild life that we can offer you here." I said it half apologetically to the friendly pair, who I surmised was visiting on one of the several cruise ships in the Georgetown harbor that morning. "Oh, we are quite interested in the wildlife of this part of the world," the lady assured me, as her husband snapped several shots of mother hen and her chicks. "And there are a good many samples right here," she continued. We counted 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 9 altogether of the little ones that accompanied their mother. We're from the UK and are actually making our way back after doing an excursion to the Amazon, the gentleman explained, turning to me after satisfying himself that he had gratifyingly recorded a photographic scene of urban beauty which they had not seen in the Amazon, but had happened upon in the Cayman Islands, and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. And so I go on to tell how telling the story of these, our wildlife characters who can't tell their own story otherwise except by being here, I tell their story in this one in the book called Into the Wild.
I like that.
And you'll find out how they got there.
Okay, that's perspective of the fowl then.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. It's different.
Okay.
Absolutely different. Right, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, go on and read that story.
Okay, will do. How do you decide which parts of Caymanian culture to preserve, reinterpret, or I guess challenge in your writing? Because it's not history that you're writing, but it's reflecting on it, and it's threading the real with imaginary, right?
Right. I can't say I definitely decide on a particular topic to emphasize that above and beyond other aspects of our culture. But whatever I write about is part of our culture.
Yeah.
Culture is so many different things.
It is.
And so it's whatever you think about, talk about, do as an individual or as a group of individuals or as a society. That's all part of our culture in different ways.
As is literature, so much part of culture.
Yes, and in that aspect of our culture, we are growing, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most famous, of course, is Roy Bodden.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
you've also written a handful of books just like Mr. Bodden.
I don't know. Perhaps I got started with publishing a little bit before Roy, but he has perhaps superseded me in the quantity. Mm-hmm. But this, by the way, what did I say, is my 5th book. And so, and there are other people, of course, who are producing poems, poetry, and prose, and maybe 1 or 2 even doing novels. And so it has taken off and is growing from this little island and its small population, which has become so enormous now, as we all know.
Yeah. To me, I think it's so important to share stories, and however you might be interpreting them or, writing them out for people to read and interpret for themselves as well. I think it's so important because we are connecting through the years. Right. It's this is the oldest form of communication in the world. It's storytelling. Mm-hmm. It is how people have preserved their culture, right, have celebrated their culture, mm-hmm, whether it's through, as we mentioned, Gimme Story a few minutes earlier,
yes,
whether it's through storytelling, mm-hmm, like that, or whether it's through written word, right, as you said, through prose. So much of that goes then transform into song. To me, I think it's so important when we are looking at culture and defining culture and saying these are the aspects of our culture. Do you ever take yourself out of what you're doing? Mm-hmm. Writing, you were a professor, teaching music. Mm-hmm. Do you ever take yourself away from that and almost be looking at yourself from an outside kind of point of view and saying, I am actually greatly contributing to preserving our culture in Cayman?
Oh, I don't engage in so much self-congratulation, but
I think you should.
But yeah, I'm aware,
okay,
of the circumstances and the efforts and my own little contribution over the years. And I once or twice maybe I've looked at myself as if I were recording myself reading, recording it on a video and
Yep.
so on.
That's a normal thing to do, by the way, to improve, and it's very normal to do.
Yeah, so
I want to.
I'm aware of
Okay.
some things that I've done, but I don't sit down and mope over it if many other people don't necessarily take that into consideration
or gloat over it or something. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I want to give you your flowers in that sense, because you very much are,
Thank you.
and because this is forever. The works
true.
that you have produced
Yes.
are forever. This is forever in Cayman culture and history. And I think that's very important. It's going to make me emotional now for I don't know why. But I think it's a very beautiful thing. And if there's a final message that you could leave with our listeners when it comes to Journey to the Present, what you would want people to hopefully experience from reading your collection of 10 stories here in Journey to the Present or any of your other books, what would that be?
Well, I think that it's worthwhile looking at and reading and being familiar with, because there are things in here, for example, that are not recorded in some of our actual history books. You go to
But how do we
founded
know if it's
upon
real now?
Yet founded upon the seas.
Yes.
That history book, and you will see that here I present in detail some aspects of our history that are not in there.
Okay.
Even the last story, for example, called "Planes from Cuba." That's an actual event that took place in 1963.
Okay.
I don't think it's even mentioned in. I'm not sure, but in the history book, and there I'm giving a story, a very personal story, and some people recognize it right away. They were there. I mean, and it took place at our airport.
Okay.
And so the third story also, for example, that's a documentary account of the American pastor who was sent to Jamaica to pastor in a little evangelical church called the Pilgrim Holiness Church, and a Caymanian who was there got in touch with him and said she was very excited, and could you, brother, go to my island, the Cayman Islands, and preach to them the gospel, the same gospel she heard him preaching in Kingston. He had never even heard of the place of the Cayman Islands, but he ended up coming here in 1925, so that's 101 years ago.
Wow.
And the church is about ready to, it's called now the Wesleyan Holiness Church.
Wow.
Yeah, well, because of Pilgrim Holiness and Wesleyan Methodist that merged in 1968. So it became the Wesleyan Methodist Church, the Wesleyan Holiness Church in the Caribbean.
Okay.
And so that's a history based completely on the documents. And basically I let him tell the story of archival documents that I received from the church's headquarters in Indiana.
That's amazing.
And a lot of people here don't know it, except when they read the story in here. That's the third story.
Okay.
I call it Beginnings.
Where can we find the book? Where can we get
This
it?
book, well, you can find it in my hands and you can buy it from me. It's $25.
Okay.
However, you can also find it at the bookstores here in Cayman. You can find it at the National Trust, the National Museum, the Book Nook, Next Chapter, and I guess that's it about now.
That's awesome.
That's about
Great.
it
Okay.
for now. But, right, so I hope you get hold of it and are able to read it, and all your audience, they will profit from it in terms of their knowledge and their entertainment. And it recommends itself.
Well, there you go. I love it. I'm excited to read it and to check
Good.
out some of the stories and learn for
Yeah.
sure. Thank you so much for joining us on The Buzz. It was a bit of a short conversation. I know we could go a lot longer. I love reading and I love writing. So it's a conversation I could have for
Good.
days.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Because look, these other books I brought along, I mean, there are things in there I'd love to read for you and with you.
We just don't have time. We're
Just
over the
don't
show.
have
We're over the show.
Right.
But
So
next
some
time,
other time.
Yeah, we'll have to have a little bit longer time with you next time. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me on The Buzz, and best of luck on how the new book Journey to the Present is received.
Thank you very much.
Everybody else, have a beautiful Thursday, a beautiful Easter weekend ahead of you, and be safe out there on the roads. And if you're camping, be safe. Mind all the camping guidelines and advice people are giving you out there. You don't want the fire people coming out and saying, hey, you got to put your stuff out. Enjoy your time safely.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.